on your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Because this is a proud damn state.
Streaming live from HitThatLine.com.
You can actually feel Razorback Stadium shaking underneath our feet right now.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Smackdown Jenkins.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Stick this one in the electrical socket, folks. The Razorbacks have shocked the world. Arkansas defeats UConn.
I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
Halftime today is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings in Fort Smith, Conway, Little Rock, Sherwood, and Jonesboro.
Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar!
Hey, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Anybody fall down yet? Walk into their car? Has anybody pulled a Mike Neighbors this morning yet? I hope Nabes makes it to the car nice and easy for an 8 o'clock game tonight. I doubt those streets will be any clearer than they are right now. Good to be with you on what can we call this? A snowy, dusty Thursday. Although across portions of our listening audience, you already got some ice today.
Matty,
it's been pretty dry in the Fort Smith area.
Don't see any snow or ice over here.
Tell you what, where I am, it is white and dusty outside. Central Arkansas has got the ice. So you guys are lucky. You're very
I don't
lucky.
miss having to drive from Jacksonville to Little Rock in the ice.
Not on a day like
now
this.
I've got like a 5-minute drive here.
What do they used to call that little bit of the highway? The highway of death.
Yeah,
the wall
67,
of death. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank goodness it's not up anymore. Nice to be with you on a Thursday here on Halftime. It'll be a late game night for me with an 8 o'clock tip against Mississippi State. Big one for Arkansas women's basketball as they get a week until the next game. Got a chance to end a 10-game losing streak against Mississippi State. It has been 10 straight losses for Arkansas women's basketball against what had been one of the premier programs in the country. And although Mississippi State is still ranked, I believe coming in today they were at the top of the top 25. Well, been a couple of weeks since they last played a game, and they are nowhere near the level of team that they have been in previous seasons. Still in all, this will be a good test for Arkansas. Chance to get one of their better victories against an SEC team, against a good defensive club, and got some thoughts on that game later on in the show. The first thing I wanted to get to, of course, our phone number, 877-377-6963. That's right. Got to get our texts and our callers in today. Bob Holt joining us in 27 minutes. We'll dig into Arkansas men's basketball. And the main question I want to get to here, Smackdown, is so how does Arkansas get off the 8-9 seed for an NCAA tournament? Because as of right now, that's what you're looking at. Of course, you got a lot of time left to make your case. 15-5 record, playing really good right now with wins in 5 straight SEC games. A 7-4 league record, and you're kind of in that. I wouldn't call it middle of the pack. You're not at the top of the pack because Alabama has already pulled away with a 3-game lead in less than a month. But Arkansas is one of 5 teams that are all within a half game of each other around second place behind Alabama. And, the league standings are going to matter, I think, once it comes time for the committee to look at where they're seeding teams. Like if you're Arkansas and you find a way to finish in second place in the SEC, which is, I think, quite a possibility.
I would agree with that.
You're not going to be an 8-9 seed. You're not going to. The second place team out of the SEC is not going to be an 8-9 seeded team. And I do think, like, you can't go into March hoping to make a statement in the SEC tournament. I've always thought that that's been overstated as far as where the committee looks at what you do in the tournament outside of winning it, unless you make a huge run. One win in that tournament doesn't really make all that much of a difference. But who knows what that tournament's going to look like. So you got to make your statement for the selection committee in the regular season. And right now, when you look at the bracketologists, Smackdown, your bracketology's got you at number 9. Jerry Palm's got you a number 10 seed. ESPN BPI, I love how they do this because it's all statistical rankings. ESPN BPI has Arkansas as a 7.3 seed.
7.3.
Right. I understand how that works, but it's just funny to look at that. SB Nation has you at 8. Rankings from Ken Palm, number 24. Net ranking is number 26. That all leads to right now like about an 8 or 9 seed. So you still have plenty. By the way, Andy Katz, who I respect and really enjoy reading him, he doesn't even have Arkansas in the tournament in his last bracketology. He's got him as one of the first 4 out, along with Boise, St. Louis, and Penn State. That's a surprise because I think Arkansas right now should be a tournament team.
Well, all that can change this weekend. Every bit of everything that you just listed here can change with a victory against Missouri, because you get a road quad 1 victory, and all of this changes. And I genuinely think, depending on how you play against LSU, Alabama, things like that, and this may be a little too far-fetched, but you beat Missouri, is it fair to say that you're off the 8-9 seed?
Maybe for a day. I mean, who knows? You still have plenty of other games left. That's my point. I mean, you play 3 teams that you are battling for position in the SEC standings with. All of these teams within a half game of them: Missouri, LSU, Florida. And you do play Alabama. So, I mean, that's the biggest game left. Maybe the biggest game is the one right in front of you. But as far as the toughest game left, Alabama, with 1 loss in the league, that's your toughest game left. But you still have a chance to make really like 4 statements against Missouri, LSU, Florida, and Alabama. I don't know if all 4 of those teams will be in the tournament, but there's a good chance they all will be there. And if Arkansas beat Florida, you go 2-2 in those games, you're actually looking pretty good. The ones you can't slip up on, the other 3 games that are left outside of those 5 that I'd mentioned would be 2 against Texas A&M and the 1 against South Carolina. Although, Carolina's had some interesting wins and close calls of late. Can't lose either of the Texas A&M games. You're going to have to sweep them. So anyway, I mean, you look at where national pundits think you sit right now, and you have a great chance because of who's coming up to make the statement to potentially get down to a 7 or a 6 seed if you continue to play hot. And you finish with how many games are left? You get 7 games left.
6 for certain, and then counting that, yeah.
Man, I'll tell you, you get to 20 wins. I think you're looking at being at least a number 6 seed. But just get off the 8-9 line. I guess would you rather be a 10 seed than 8-9? When you look at the numbers, like the 8-9 game is pretty much a coin flip. And although it feels like every year, and maybe it is true, that there is at least one 10 seed that beats a 7 seed every year, the numbers still are heavily in favor of the 7 seed. So you got to get off that 8-9 game. That can't happen this year.
You absolutely have to, because, I mean, obviously you're taking on that 1 seed, which Arkansas's luck would probably end up being Gonzaga or something like that. So I just keep winning. That's the best thing you can do. And I think when you look at the standings here, I think you could beat LSU. I don't think that's too far fetched, because out of the 7 games left, what would you say right now? Out of the 7 left, and that's assuming we get the other A&M game rescheduled, can they win 5 of those 7? Or would you go 4 of 7?
It is a tall order, really, because, I mean, it's a very tall order. Right now, the team's playing good basketball. I could see out of these next 7 games picking up wins in 4 or 5, but I think 5 is a really tall order when you look at the teams you're playing against. I mean, LSU just got to play at least a little defense. Rather than the first time around, you can't.
But I think
the Tigers get hot like that,
But this is a vastly different team, or at least the way it seems to us now. A vastly different team that played against Alabama and LSU.
Where are they mostly different? They have Justin Smith, and that makes a pretty huge difference.
And I think most of these players have accepted their roles as well. They know what they're expected of now. And you're right. I think it's a lot more of Justin Smith being back, just being on the floor. Period. When you look at that schedule, I agree. I think 5 is a tall order, but this team could do it. I genuinely think so. And I think those 2 losses might end up accidentally being LSU and Alabama. And I think Alabama, maybe now, just based on the way they've played and kind of not necessarily faltered, but kind of brought back to earth a little bit, you might be able to get them. The good thing about those 2 games is they're at home. For whatever home court is worth this year, at least you're in your own building when you play them.
Well, your next opponent, Missouri, got an upset last night by Ole Miss.
They got dominated last night.
I want to watch out for Ole Miss. That team's starting to play some much better hoops of late with wins in 3 in a row, and all 3 of those teams are pretty good, beating Mizzou, are beating Mizzou, Auburn, and Tennessee. So that win for the Razorbacks over Ole Miss recently, looking a little bit nicer. All right, plenty to get to on the show today. Of course, we'll preview Arkansas women's basketball. Bob Holt coming up 20 minutes. Andrew Benintendi was traded overnight. Red Sox fans are not happy. I'll bet you Razorback fans are happy because now he's closer to Arkansas, more so than any other major league city. He's going to be in Kansas City, and the Royals might have an interesting team. Too bad that AL Central is really, really tough this year. Got some updates on where other former Razorback major league players have settled into or not settled into with spring training coming up in less than 2 weeks. 877-377-6963 to get on halftime. We are right back.
The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Kraft.
One of the things you liked about Sam Pittman and the initial hires he made is the SEC experience that they had. Now you're switching it up, like a Power 5 and SEC experience. You get a lot of younger guys. Every single one of these assistants are younger than their predecessor. That's something I think you need to at least raise your eyebrows on.
Weekdays from 6 till 9, only on ESPN 95.3.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
This is Pastor Heath from Woodland. I know some of these ads make you glad, but most probably make you mad. The reason is people believe the lie that heals is better than the truth that hurts. Our purpose at Woodland is to risk the hurt by exposing the lies so you can be wise unto salvation. If you'd like to know more, check out our website, woodlandpeople.church. There you can download our app and listen to our podcast. That's woodlandpeople.church.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
A brand new high-efficiency air conditioner. For your chance to win, go to AshleyAir.com. One lucky homeowner will win a high-efficiency system valued at nearly $9,000, and there's no cost to you. Don't wait to enter. The drawing will be held on February the 25th.
AshleyAir.com. Head to toe, it's gotta be Jelco for hard work and the great outdoors.
With quality and price and comfort you like, and savings that you're looking for.
We've got the shoes and boots, steel toes too, outerwear and a whole lot more.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Jelco
for hard work and the great outdoors.
2021 annual passes are available starting January 1st at the Ben Guerin Golf Course. We offer a variety of plans to fit your budget and needs. We have special pricing on annual passes for juniors, seniors, veterans, and active military. Annual passes are also available at the new Ben Guerin Community Complex, located across the street from the golf course. An unlimited driving range plan is also available, which includes both facilities. Book your 2021 tournament outings now at the Ben Guerin Golf Course.
Save up to $10,000 off on remaining 2020 Ford F-150s at Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford. Harry has a great selection of trucks, up to $10,000 off while they last. The 2020 Ford Mustangs have got to go. Lots of colors to choose from, and up to $5,500 off. And the 2020 Ford Edge Titanium, over $8,500 off, only $34,575. The 2020s must go at Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off 540 in Salisaw.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hogs look to push.
Robinson into the front court, feeds Note. Top of the circle, JD's three, rims out, but Smith with a left-hand jam for a follow. There's that 48-inch vertical jump, and he threw that down with the offhand with a lot of authority.
Want to jump in the conversation with the guys? Call or text into halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and SmackDown.
All right, SmackDown. How you feeling about this women's basketball game tonight? It's the first time to try to beat Mississippi State in 10 games. It's a late tip. Mississippi State hasn't played in 2 weeks, not through any fault of their own. It's because, they were scheduled for Vanderbilt. Vandy quit, and they were scheduled for Tennessee. Tennessee had some COVID issues, so that's why they haven't played in 2 weeks. They haven't won a game in over a month, my man. I mean, it's been 3. They lost their last 3 before this kind of forced – we couldn't call it a pause because they've been practicing every day, but they just haven't played a game. Losses to 3 of the better teams in the SEC, Bama, at A&M, and to South Carolina. And, by the way, I mean, they got blown out the last 2 by the Aggies and by the Gamecocks. Their last win, January 10th.
That's been a while.
It has been. I feel like this is a game like Mississippi State always has great athletes, and I don't think this year is any different. But, man, if you haven't been at full game speed against a real opponent in 2 weeks, and now you're coming up against one of the fastest teams in college basketball, I give a real edge to the Razorbacks just in the fact that to me it feels like they're in better game shape. Now, I'm sure that they're looking forward to getting 6 days until the next game after this one, especially being forced to prepare for Texas A&M a lot earlier than they expected. But I don't know. I think because Arkansas has been in a rhythm, and been playing and hadn't been forced to wait 2 weeks. That they have an edge just because they've been on the court against an opponent.
I think you just laid it out perfectly. And it's not – you got the rust factor that Mississippi State may be playing with just a little bit, and you wonder how much rust will actually come into play just being the COVID year and everything about it. But I think you laid it out 110% correctly. This team is coming in with an edge. They're coming in with a rhythm, and I think they've got something to prove, and they're tired of these – which – and I say heartbreaking losses, and I'm not jumping on the bandwagon with Cody from what he mentioned a couple days ago, but – they need a rebound victory to kind of get their swagger back under them and try to and really push forward to get ready for the SEC tournament here coming up pretty quick and pull up their schedule here and how it kind of sets up for them as the rest of the season. But you got to get this victory.
It's a lot different than like how the men are facing the teams that they're either matched up against in the standings or teams that are ahead of them. Arkansas's next, and they only have 4 games after this. Ole Miss. LSU. LSU is a trap game because that's a tough team. That's in fact the only team that's beaten Texas A&M.
Is that at LSU? Is that at Baton Rouge?
That's in Baton Rouge. And then at Auburn. Auburn still hasn't won an SEC game. And then wrap up the regular season against a good Alabama team. So really out of the next, and let's say 5 games counting tonight, 3 of those teams are good. 2 of those teams are not. And Arkansas could win any one of these games. So, and you use the word rhythm there about Arkansas. And I don't know if rhythm is the right word because you look at the performance against A&M, and it was up and down, especially that third quarter where Mike says, I mean, that's where he felt like they lost their chance, rather than giving up a bucket in the final second again to Texas A&M. What you really can't see in this game happen, and this is what usually happens against Mississippi State because of how tough they are defensively, is that they've been really good for years at getting on long scoring runs. I mean, something like 10-0 or 15-0, where they can hold an opponent from scoring anything for a lengthy period of time. Recently, that's been Mississippi State that hasn't been able to score. In fact, they only scored 3 points in the first quarter against Texas A&M late last month. So as long as there is a balanced, like a balanced game for Arkansas, not necessarily on everybody scoring the same amount of points and everybody being out there the same amount of time and all of that. I mean, like no real highs and lows in this game. Steady attack. I think they can get control of this game early and really keep Mississippi State on their heels. And the Bulldogs, I don't think they have the scorers necessarily to play from way behind against Arkansas. There's some other teams that can. I don't think this team is. And a way that Arkansas can get ahead of them is by getting out and running, man.
Running and getting the open shot. Yeah, I had a text out of the 501 from Tyler. He said he thinks the girls will get the dub tonight. And specifically, he's saying Dungy's playing on a different level, but also how well Amber Ramirez has been shooting the ball, shooting lights out recently, and hopefully she'll continue that hot shooting streak that she's been on.
Well,
those two girls right there, that's your keys right there. If they're playing well, you're in good shape.
4 games in a row that Amber has hit at least 5 threes. She's way over 50% during that stretch. And Dungy's been great too, but one area where Chelsea, I think, can really take advantage today is that Mississippi State fouls a lot. They foul a lot. In fact, I mean, stats that mean something to me here is that Arkansas draws an average of 20 fouls per game. Mississippi State commits almost 18 fouls per game, and that's on the heavy end both sides there. Bulldogs have committed 24 more fouls than their opponents have in SEC games, and it's basically flip-flopped as far as Arkansas is concerned. The Razorback opponents have committed 28 more fouls than Arkansas has in SEC games. So that is another way that the this isn't just a matter of getting ahead and shooting free throws in the fourth quarter to stay ahead. Like, I think they can create some problems with their speed early against Mississippi State, get to the foul line early, and make a habit of it. Because that's one aspect of Arkansas basketball. When they're on, they get to the line, and they're going to need to keep the points coming today. That's what I mean, like none of the real highs and lows. What I look is they need at least 74 points tonight. The target is 74 points. You get to 74 points, they're going to win. You finish under 74, who knows? In fact, Arkansas has finished with less than 74 points in 5 SEC games. They've lost every one of them. They're 14-2 this year when they score 74 points or more. That's the target number today. Mississippi State can't play with Arkansas in the mid to high 70s. They need this game to stay in the 60s to low 70s. Hogs get to 74, ball game.
I like it. And I was before you said that, I was looking. I was like, "Huh, you're right. You're right." At 14-2 when they score over 74. So I agree. I think it's going to be right there for the taking in again. If you're just tuning in, that game starts at 8:00 p.m. on the SEC network, and then you'll have the call for it on the ArkansasRazorbacks.com website, which is obviously the better choice anyway because it's you, right?
Yeah, right. And for those who worry about like an announcer leaning too much one way for the other. I know Tamika Catchings is on the SEC Network telecast tonight, and I don't know if she played with her at Tennessee, but they're both former Volunteers. Nikki McCray-Penson is the head coach for Mississippi State, and she was part of a couple of national titles with Pat Summitt. Catchings did the same thing. In fact, I think Catchings won 3 national titles, so you got somebody that, although she doesn't lean towards Mississippi State, she certainly will lean towards the Bulldogs coach. Because I know a lot of people, always feel like one of the announcers on ESPN is always like against you, is always against Arkansas for some reason, even if it's a former Razorback.
Well, I mean, how much of that was during the Kentucky game? Pretty much, because you can't say that about Jimmy Dykes because he coached for Arkansas and he coached for Kentucky. Carl Ravitch, he's an anomaly. Doesn't matter. You had Bobby Bones on the broadcast, and it worked out pretty well for you, so.
The Bones thing was interesting because it's awkward when you make a phone call on a television broadcast. That's what made that seem
it's 2020, my friend.
A little bit weird. Exactly. It's 2021. We've got 18 different ways to make a voice sound better than on the phone. And so with that thought, then SmackDown, then why are we having Bob Holt on the telephone?
That's a good point.
In 6 minutes instead of Zooming him or FaceTiming him or something like that.
Can we incorporate Zoom into the radio show? We can start Skyping in.
I tell you what, Bob Holt probably is a Zoom master more than anybody else in the entire state of Arkansas with all of the Zoom pressers that he's been involved in. And I don't know, there's probably some other Arkansas sports media members that could take some Zoom lessons from him.
Audio's gone.
That would be one of them. Although it's funny, Bob actually blamed, this is hilarious. Bob, this was a couple of press conferences ago after an Arkansas men's basketball game, and he was on mute for a while, and he didn't realize he's on mute, And when he finally comes back onto the microphone, he made a funny. He said, "Oh, no, I guess I had Nate Allen set up my computer." I was like, "Wow, Bobby made a funny, man."
Bob
all
off
of
the
a sudden.
top rope on him.
That's exactly right. you got to appreciate, a quiet sense of humor like that from our one and only friend Bob Holt.
We haven't gave him a nickname in a while. We haven't done like the illustrious Bob Holt yet.
You're going to put some pressure on me for the next 5 minutes to find some sort of adjective to describe him.
You two have been putting it on me for all of Valentine's Day coming up here, and I got a stern talking to not stern. She was sweet about it.
That's right, because she realized that we told you don't have to do anything, and she wants you to do something. She wants you to do something special. It's not a bunch of fake coupons.
You better be nice. She's listening today. School got closed today for her, so she's listening live right now.
School closed? What do you mean? We got Zoom, and we got Bob after this.
Okay, we've got Rick here, a veteran in the league who's gone 0-2 the past Valentine's Days. Do you think he can pull off a win this year?
I always like an underdog, Bob, but I'm not sure about this guy.
He's passing aisle 3, picks up a bag of wings. He dodges the produce section.
But will he pick up the heart-shaped box?
Heading toward the candy aisle. He's picking up speed. Oh, no, he chokes and heads straight to the checkout.
Unbelievable. This close to Valentine's Day.
Don't be a Rick. Make happy this Valentine's Day with a heart-shaped box of Russell Stover chocolates.
New year, new budgets. Every small business has unique needs, and when you partner with a Dell Technologies advisor, you get real-time tailored advice. They'll even give you a free consultation on your servers and storage devices to develop a custom solution to help improve your company's productivity. Plus, get special financing with Dell Business Credit and big savings on business computers with Intel Core processors. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Your locally owned TGI Fridays in Fort Smith is now open for dine-in, curbside to-go, and delivery for both lunch and dinner, 7 days a week. TGI Fridays is taking your safety seriously, following every guideline. Enjoy Fridays favorites like appetizers, burgers, sandwiches, salads, all the great Fridays, signature entrees, kids meals, and great desserts. TGI Fridays, now open for dine-in, curbside to-go, and delivery. Call 479-484-0906. That's 484-0906. Or order online at Fridays.com. Your locally owned TGI Fridays at I-540 and Rogers in Fort Smith.
Standard Materials Group has immediate openings for ready-mix drivers in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you have a CDL license without an automatic restriction and want to be home every night, want to work with a company that offers great pay, benefits, and a great team environment with growth opportunity, apply today at jobs.crh.com. Again, that's jobs.crh.com. Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
Bryn Higgins Trucking in Mulberry is immediately hiring for weekend and part-time local and over-the-road driving positions. Go to work for a great family-owned business transporting frozen and refrigerated goods since 1997. At Bryn Higgins Trucking, you truly are part of a family that cares about your future and your family. Contact Bryn or Connie today at 479-997-2366. That's 479-997-2366. Or apply online at brynhigginstrucking.com for weekend and part-time local and over-the-road driving positions.
Bills, kids, school, toilet paper. Who is buying all the canned chickpeas? Delayed shipments, masks, pandemic, elections. You're on mute. Riots, air fryers, test results, streaming services, the playoffs, unfriended. You can turn it all off, at least for a while. The rhythmic sound of your feet on the pavement, the sun peeking through the clouds on a quiet morning. Let us show you how to leave it all behind. True Grit Renting Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Arkansas Fuel Injection in Fort Smith has been providing quality work for all new and rebuilt diesel pumps and injectors for over 25 years. They are a certified diesel shop with a team of quality technicians that ensure the highest quality workmanship and warranties all their work. They are open Monday through Friday 8 to 5 and has emergency service available 24 hours a day. For all your diesel pump, fuel injection, and parts needs, stop by Arkansas Fuel Injection, 6300 South 29th Street, Fort Smith. Call them today at 1-800-817-7709. Arkansas Fuel Injection.
Looking to upgrade your fleet or needing professional service to your existing fleet? Carco International of Fort Smith offers the latest trucks and equipment in the industry. With over 70 years in the trucking and equipment business, they have the experience to keep you on the road. Carco International offers professional service after the sale. Carco International Parts Department supplies all makes, parts, and gives expert service. Carco International is the answer. Leave it to the pros to keep you on the road. Carco International, located at 2721 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Baseline inbound to Daniels for Thomas. Whip it around left side. Ramirez fakes to the corner. Lobs for Thomas, left elbow. 3 to shoot. Out for Slocum. 3's on the way. Buckets. And Slocum must be feeling it.
Yeah, big quarter early for Destiny Slocum.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Smackdown Jenkins. Find us on 99.5 and 1290 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith in the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs in Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com.
All right, I do have some adjectives to figure out something for Bob here, and I
Good.
think we can all understand this. This isn't just Bob because the Arctic Bob Holt, the bone-chilling Bob Holt, the shivery Bob Holt, because it is just so freaking cold these days. And he joins us right now from the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, which is really his house these days. Bob, how are you?
I'm good. I'm staying inside.
You and me both. Although I'm forced to head to Bud Walton later on tonight. There's nothing I can do about that with this game against Mississippi State. We were talking. It's interesting about you see the two basketball teams here, and for the men's side, they've got a better conference record than Mike Neighbors' team does. But as far as the women's basketball tournament's concerned, right now Arkansas probably is a better seed overall than Muss's team does. I guess that has more to do with the overall strength of SEC women's basketball compared to men's basketball. But you look what's ahead right now for the Hogs men's team with who they've got scheduled coming up, and it's all teams that they're all either right there matched with in the standings or ahead of them in the case of Alabama. They really have a chance to write their own script and not lay where they're put in the tournament on anybody else other than themselves.
Yeah, they've got a lot of big games coming up. Saturday at Missouri, which is kind of a hard team to figure out. Missouri ranked 10th after being 13-3 and winning some big games at Tennessee, pretty recently, and then if people watched the game last night, Missouri, that may be the worst game they've played all year. I haven't seen all their games, but it'd be hard to imagine a worse game. They got beat by at Ole Miss by about 20. There's no disgrace in losing to Ole Miss. Tennessee lost to Ole Miss by 2 last week. But go in there and just really not be competitive. They were down 5 at halftime. I think Ole Miss started the second half on a 13-0 run. And, Missouri was 5 of 15 on free throws. And so, if you have a game like that, you kind of got to wonder where your head is. And so I imagine they'll be very focused for Arkansas, very motivated. So I don't think Ole Miss did Arkansas any favors last night. But, that'd be a huge win if Arkansas could get in at Missouri. They're looking for revenge. They got Justin Smith back for this game, who didn't play in the first Missouri game. He'll make a difference. I don't know if he can make a big enough difference to win. And then they got Alabama and LSU coming in here. Who knows if they're going to play either of these A&M games? I don't know if you saw A&M. They just announced A&M's postponing another game. So we'll see what happens. But, yeah, the schedule's all out there for Arkansas. They've been taking care of business. They've been beating the teams they're supposed to beat. I know Kentucky's having a bad year, but that was a big win there because Kentucky played – that's probably one of the better games Kentucky's played. And they uncharacteristically shot the 3. If anybody's mad because they were leaving them with open threes, well, that was a strategy because Kentucky's a bad shooting team, and they were packing the paint, and Kentucky just got hot. And usually when a team gets that hot, you lose. The other team loses. So that was a good win for Arkansas.
Well, then, you look ahead of the next game against Missouri, and the loss to the Tigers back in January was like the biggest head-scratcher of the year because they just couldn't make not just a shot, but a layup, for crying out loud. And I know they've improved a lot around the rim since that game. You look at 5 losses right now for this team, and I would feel like that's the one that they really want back more than any other. Even the Oklahoma State loss, it's just that it felt like Missouri didn't necessarily defend well enough to Arkansas shoot less than 30% that night.
Yeah, and of course that was actually an early game of the CBS game. I think it was 11 a.m.
That's right, it was 11.
Razorbacks overall have not played real well in the early game. This one's at 3 o'clock, so they have time to get a shoot around in. But yeah, I think Eric said basically. I have to look back, but he said some of the effect that was like the most disappointing home loss he's experienced as a head coach. And yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you lose at Oklahoma State. That was over in Stillwater. Yeah, you know they got blasted at Alabama and LSU, but those were on the road. Alabama was playing really well, and LSU was really talented. They just are kind of schizophrenic or whatever. But yeah, Missouri. That's a home game. And as bad as Arkansas was playing, as bad as they were shooting, it's like Eric said, you felt like they were in that game. And proud, until the very end, they just couldn't get anything going offensively, and their defense wasn't that good, to give up 81 at home. But, yeah, I think that's probably the most disappointing game they've played all year. So they should certainly be motivated for this game, and Missouri will be too.
Yeah, of course, Justin Smith wasn't available that day because of the ankle injury. And getting him back has, I think, helped a lot for this team to gel. Although you can tell that ankle bothers him late in the game. Doesn't come off, though. He still plays on it and plays hard, but I think it affects him. But I think one thing that's been so obvious and so much fun for all of us, one of the reasons this team is gelled, Bob, is because the kids are all right. The freshmen are good on this team. Outside of Moses, and it's so obvious with him, Devo adds a lot, and you had to be impressed with Jalen Williams in that second half against Kentucky. These three kids, and I think KK moving forward, we just didn't get enough to see a lot of them. Great freshman class, and they've really rounded into form this year.
Yeah, I mean, Moses Moody, I think most people knew he was the best signee, freshman, but he's really played well, and he's projected to be a first-round pick in most of my polls I see, so enjoy him while he's here. And then, Devo Davis really brings a lot of energy. You look at the stats the other night, I think he had 4 points and 2 rebounds, 2 assists, but, he made huge plays at the end. Eric trusted him enough to, after Kentucky hit that three, hey, get the ball up and, go to the cup, as I thought Eric put it. And you shoot it soon enough to give yourself a chance to get an offensive rebound, which Jalen Tate did, and he hits the big free throws, and then, Devo made the big steal at the end. And, the way Kentucky was shooting threes, if they'd gotten that ball into the front court and the guy turns and shoots, who knows what happens. So that was a huge steal. And he's made a lot of big plays in SEC games. That's the thing they're doing in SEC games. They're not beating up on some, overmatched non-conference teams. And Jalen Williams, I mean, Kentucky's, like I said, they're having issues, but they're big and they're physical. I think he goes in there and gets 9 points and 7 boards, hits his free throws. He gets 7 or 8 free throws. That's big. And, as we saw last night with Missouri, they wouldn't have wanted to hit their free throws. They would have been closer. And so, those three freshmen have all made, Moses Moody is probably the best all-around player on the team, but those other two guys are making significant contributions as well. And like I said, I think if KK Robinson was healthy, he'd be playing too.
Bob Holt joining us here on Halftime. Bob, one last basketball tidbit before I want to ask you about Benny Baseball, Andrew Benintendi. Earlier in the show, before we got you on, me and Phil were talking about how can the Razorbacks get off the 8-9 seed line for the NCAA tournament game. And in your estimation, what would need to happen for this team to get off that 8-9 seed line? Is it finishing second, third in the SEC in the conference, getting far in the SEC tournament? What needs to happen for this team to avoid an 8-9 seed?
Well, I guess it sounds simple. Is just keep winning the games you're supposed to win, and that's going to depend on what teams in other conferences do too. But if like I say, who knows they're going to play A&M? But if you play A&M, beat A&M. Beat LSU, maybe upset. Upsetting Alabama would be huge, I think, because Alabama right now is looking like 2-3 seed. So beating Alabama would help their resume a ton. But it also could be nullified if they lose it. If they do play A&M at home, if they lose a game like that. So they've got to keep winning the games they're supposed to win. If they could win at Missouri, beat Alabama, something like that, and if as soon as we have an SEC tournament, they can win a couple games there. That'll help too. But I think if they get to 20-something wins, I can see them being a 6 or 7 seed, especially if some of those wins are over teams like Missouri and Alabama.
It's going to be interesting finish to the season. Real quick before we let you go, also want to ask you about Andrew Benintendi being traded to the Kansas City Royals in a 3-team deal. And Bobby started off incredibly for the Red Sox. I mean, he let him help lead them to the 2018 World Series and the postseason run with them. And he's really struggled these past 2 years. How do you think he'll translate now? Change of scenery, coming a little bit closer to Arkansas, going to Kansas City. How do you think he'll translate for the Royals?
I think it's probably a good move for him. Last year, a very small sample size. He had a rib injury, and I think he only played in 14 or 15 games. I think he had less than 50 at bats. He got off to a horrible start, like 0-18 or something. Then he got hurt. And of course, last year was such a weird year for everybody. So I'm not exactly sure. The Red Sox, and he's going to be a free agent after this year. Maybe the Red Sox feel like, well, if he has a big bounce back year, we can't sign him. And I don't know enough about these prospects they're getting back in return, but I think he'll probably benefit from a change of scenery. I think, Boston's a hard place for a left-hand hitter to pull the ball out of that ballpark. Much better if you're a right-hand hitter with a Green Monster. And so I think, Royal Stadium, I guess it's Kauffman Stadium. I think that might be a little better ballpark for him to hit in. And he's a good hitter. He had 3 really good years, and then last year it's just such a small sample size and an injury. And Boston was just kind of a train wreck. The whole team was, organization was. So I think a change of scenery will probably do him good. I think when players get traded, they get extra motivated to show, hey, I'm pretty good. You shouldn't have traded me. And he's from Cincinnati. He obviously went to school here. I assume he enjoyed living in Boston, but Kansas City maybe will be a little better fit for him. The media pressure in Boston and New York is probably like no other in the major leagues. So maybe being in a little more relaxed atmosphere in Kansas City will help him. So I think it's certainly fun for Arkansas fans because you have a lot of Royals fans up here and you have a lot of Benintendi fans, and I like to cheer from both at the same time.
I think Boston gave up on him too early. And honestly, I don't really think they care. When it comes right down to it, they're tearing that thing down and almost starting over again. Bob, we'll leave it there. Appreciate you. Stay warm.
Okay.
Thanks, Bob.
You guys too, yeah. Yeah, and I think the Red Sox are just a mess right now, so I don't think it's necessarily bad to get out of there.
I think that's right. I think it's probably a good thing for Benny overall. Less pressure, and I think the Royals, not like they're going to be AL Central champions, but they might have a little something going on there. Halftime brought to you by the Yumdinger, with largemouth bass spawning soon at ponds and lakes all over Arkansas and Oklahoma. You're going to need the Yumdinger to catch them. They make them by the truckloads in Fort Smith in 3-inch, 4-inch, 5-inch, and 6-inch sizes. And you'll find the Yumdinger in tackle boxes of bass anglers all over the United States and all over the world. Wacky rigging the 5-inch model can't be beat for spawning bass. You'll find the Yumdinger at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Yumdinger. And halftime wraps up the first hour after this.
Are you looking for a great deal on a previously owned vehicle but want to avoid high-pressure sales? If so, you need to visit Edwards Auto Sales in Roland. For over 30 years, Ernie Edwards and his staff have helped folks from Arkansas and Oklahoma River Valley buy a quality vehicle and offer a Buy Here, Pay Here program as part of their services. Some restrictions may apply. Come visit Edwards Auto Center newly remodeled facility, 3 miles west of the Garrison Bridge, the first car dealer on your right, or log on at edwardsautosalesinc.com.
Art's Barbecue and Burgers has the best burger in town. And every Saturday, enjoy any burger at Art's and get $1 off. Try Art's Bacon Cheeseburger, topped with house-smoked bacon, or the Art Attack with bacon, ham, and a fried egg. And all of Art's burgers come with a mound of fresh-cut fries, or upgrade to Art's homemade onion rings. $1 off all burgers every Saturday at Art's Barbecue and Burgers, 8203 Rogers Avenue, next to Aaron's in Fort Smith.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Have you ever been to River City Bistro for a brunch on the weekends? Every Saturday and Sunday, River City is open at 10 a.m. with a special brunch menu. Eggs and omelets any way you like. Premium bacon, sausage and ham, waffles, eggs Benedict, and a great drink menu featuring mimosas, Bloody Marys, and all your brunch favorites. We will see you for brunch every Saturday and Sunday starting at 10 a.m. at River City Bistro, 7320 Rogers Avenue in the Stonewood Village Shopping Center.
Brr, it's cold, but winter is actually a good time to paint that room you've been meaning to get to. This is Sue from the paint store in Van Buren, and I would love to help you with a great color selection from Richards Paint. Need to do some outdoor painting? The paint store's low-temp application product from Richards is usable down to 35 degrees. Experience our 30-plus years of expert-friendly advice that you can't get at a national brand store. The paint store in Van Buren, 1414 Fayetteville Road.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work. Real work. Working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Are you concerned about possible COVID exposure for you or your employees? Fort Smith has a new option for PCR COVID testing that is fast and accurate. Natural State Laboratories out of Little Rock has opened a PCR COVID drive-thru location in Fort Smith at Community Bible Church. PCR testing is the most sensitive, accurate test available, and results are available the next day. No appointment is necessary. Convenient COVID PCR drive-thru testing in Fort Smith is open 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday through Friday at Community Bible Church, located at 9201 Dallas Street.
Hertz Car Sales has been serving the River Valley for over 40 years and takes pride in offering exceptional service. Whether you're looking for a car, truck, crossover, or SUV, Hertz offers a big selection of the most popular brands. They're friendly, offer a no-pressure car shopping experience, and their vehicles are high quality and priced competitively. New inventory is arriving daily and trade-ins are always welcome. So make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard, give them a call at 783-1722, or check out their line of quality pre-owned vehicles at buyfromhertz.com.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Ramirez cuts to the ball, gets it, and they're going to let him dribble it out. How about it? Get your celebration on. The Razorbacks take a bite out of the Baylor Bears. And this one belongs to the Razorbacks, 83-78. You got a program-defining win.
Need a little bit more halftime in your life? Make sure to download the Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast. Eastside Liquor in Fort Smith has the best deals in the River Valley on liquor, beer, and wine. Stop by 9390 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith and make sure to check out their Facebook page for weekly specials. The Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast is part of the Hit That Line podcast network and is available wherever you listen to podcasts, including SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
A boogie to the boogie, then I jump to the bang bang boogie. Let's rock.
I feel like I've just created a new relationship term along the lines of catfishing.
Okay.
Brandon in Paris doesn't like that Maddie and I are telling you about this honeymoon grace period thing with new relationships, which, by the way, Brandon, is completely true. He says that we're catfishing you, but that's not catfishing you. If we were catfishing you, we would be dangling a fake,
Yeah, that means Reagan would be fake.
That's right.
Well, you've
met her.
She's 100%. She's 100% all natural woman.
Whoa.
Good for both of you. What we're doing is sword. I think we're sword fishing. We are sword fishing you. Sword fishing
me. Okay.
Sword fishing. That's right. That's when friends of yours say things to you about your lover that eventually ruins your relationship.
Well, see, I've had a friend of mine. His name is Jason, and I brought him up on the show. That's who I borrowed the Jeep from. He's been giving me a lot of good advice. Oh, she's calling me right now. It's like she's one. I'm fixing. You think I'm kidding?
She doesn't like what she just heard, huh?
I don't guess not.
Hey, Lady SmackDown, trust us. We are just being sarcastic about this. We are sarcastic sword fishermen, just having fun.
I can't talk.
This early in the relationship, he hasn't noticed things like whether or not she chews loud.
Yeah, and by the way, you can't make phone calls to the significant other between the hours of 11 and 1. Like, you can, but I don't think you can answer them.
This is how you pay the bills, you know?
I'm fixing to get blasted on this
you
text.
You are in such trouble right now, my friend. See, that's what sword fishing is all about, especially on a radio show.
She said, don't talk about me like that on the radio, young man. I got young man.
At this point in the relationship, you don't care about whether or not she leaves globs of toothpaste in the sink.
She's beautiful.
You'll worry about that in a few months.
She's beautiful. Absolutely.
Perfect.
She's perfect. Can't go wrong.
So I'm just going to give you one bit of advice here, and this is not sword fishing. This is true. This is true. The more time you guys spend around each other, and if there are nights where somebody stays over, it is always good for the man to focus on making sure there is no remaining body hair in the shower or around the sink or anything else. Yep. Most women do not like random scattered curly hairs anywhere.
You bring that up,
and preferably you could do any grooming like outside.
Yes. So you bring that up. She came up and hang up for the last weekend. She went to go take a shower early one morning. She looked at the shower. She's like, "Huh, what is this hair?" I said, "It's yours." And she's, "Oh, okay, never mind." But she was very quick. She's very quick to notice whether there was not my hair in there, because obviously I don't have a lot of that. So
well, then that's something you also have to get used to, is like having your vacuum cleaner like clogged up with long hairs, and
the apartment was it was full of hair because both her dogs came up. So my apartment it needed one of those, what's those little sticky roller things that you get the hair,
a lint roller.
Needed one of those throughout the apartment just to get the hair cut up. But yeah, vacuum cleaners work.
And BE wants to remind you, and this is another one, toilet seat down when you're finished. Every single time.
You might as well, just to make things simple, you might as well start sitting down to pee.
That's why I've already gotten in trouble with that a couple times already.
BE has told us the most annoying thing about his wife is she chews ice loudly. Is there another way to chew ice?
That's how I do it.
I've never done it quietly, I guess, unless you just leave it in your mouth and let it melt.
I'm definitely an ice chewer. I love crunching ice.
Gosh, I mean, like, I can't think of the top thing about my ex, nor is there a reason to do it. But like the one thing I can't deal with chewing is chewing gum, and you pop the chewing gum. You know what I mean? Some people that just have a habit of doing that. My grandmother always popped the chewing gum, for crying out loud. Grandma, I love you, but get off my.
It's not Bubblicious.
Never mind. No, she was always like Trident.
Trident.
It was never like gum that you could actually play with.
She's calling me a suck up right now, saying that I'm like trying to suck up to her, and I am. It's Valentine's Day. I'm trying to get in good graces. That way I don't ruin Valentine's Day, because Bill King said I've got all the pressure on me.
His advice was the complete opposite of the advice.
It wasn't even advice. It was like, don't screw up.
That's because he's not sword fishing you. He's actually trying to help you.
He put you in a no-win situation.
I think I won pretty big yesterday after I left the station yesterday.
Did you buy a $10,000 watch?
Yeah, it wasn't a $10,000 watch. I couldn't afford that.
How are you feeling today, man? Like, but here's why I asked this. Like, I've got opening day for the baseball season Friday next week. I'm getting more nervous and more anxious about that with each passing minute. It's just this compression of anxiety and nerves, which are totally normal for me. If I didn't feel nervous and anxious leading up to the baseball season, I would think I was dead.
Right.
Like, this is one of the things that makes me remember I'm alive. But, for you, with the anticipation of Valentine's Day, and it's only 3 days away, I just wonder, like, how much steam is coming out of your head these days, Smack? You got any pressure? Do you feel okay?
I'm good right now. I feel a lot better this morning than I did yesterday, because up to that point, I hadn't got the Valentine's Day present yet. I'm feeling good right now, though tomorrow might be a different story. Yeah. And then heading into Saturday, Sunday. So
something tells me, like, Maddie, you and I are doing the last hour of the show alone, and he's probably like going out shopping. We've got a cover for him.
Certainly, you've made reservations somewhere already.
Well, see, here's the thing. I have not made reservations yet.
Oh no, at this point,
But hang on, before you start judging me, what restaurant's going to be open? Because have you seen the forecast for Saturday night and Sunday? It's going to be like freaking 2 degrees outside.
It's going to be a little chilly.
A little chilly? Okay. No, I have not made. We've talked about going to Rolando's.
I don't even know what that is.
I think we were talking about it prior to the show.
I've not been there yet.
Then it was this morning I mentioned, but it's like some Mexican restaurant down in downtown.
I'm gonna call River City Bistro and see if they've got any tables open.
That's where I'd prefer to go. That's just me, but that's one of our favorite little spots too. So, no, to answer your question, no, I'm feeling good right now. So we'll see how I feel tomorrow. Saturday's probably going to be the nervous day, just to make sure I have all the ducks in a row. I have everything, all my I's crossed and my T's dotted. We're going to be in good shape.
You dot your T's.
But dot my T's. I was just seeing if anybody was paying attention to that.
Make sure you don't dot the T's and leave the L's alone and make sure the Q's are curly in the right spot, okay?
I'm going to take care of her. I've got
all those things and more. I got a listener who wonders why I'd be nervous for the start of baseball season. Why wouldn't I be? You do a solo broadcast on a 4-hour game. We haven't seen these teams play yet. I mean, I watched Arkansas scrimmage a little bit. It's normal. It's natural. When you're broadcasting to, gosh, I don't know how many people listen to the baseball games. tens of thousands. We're on like 20 stations. Why wouldn't you be nervous? I want those nerves, man. If you do, and I would want the ball players to feel the same way, and I'm sure they do. There's a whole idea of turning nervous energy into positive energy for a performance, which is also what a radio broadcast is. So no, I'm not playing, but
the moment you quit feeling nervous is the time you should find a new career.
That's right. I don't feel nervous about the second hour. What does that tell you?
That it's going to be great.
It's going to be well.
All right,
could
based
go one,
on that logic, actually,
it could go one of two ways.
Yeah.
Anyway, 877-377-6963.
Apparently, I'm in the doghouse now, according to Lady SmackDown. I don't know what I said. I was very genuine with everything I said.
See, that's what sword fishing's all about. SmackDown.
You two got me in trouble.
I feel like you were trying to get out of taking her somewhere to eat based on the weather. You're like, oh, this weather. How are we ever going to get out of the house? Have you guys seen it?
Are you trying to get me?
It's going to be cold outside.
See, now we have to be nice for the rest of the show. Now we just have to say, look, you realize, Lady SmackDown, like how much this guy actually just adores you and talks about you off the air in ways that would make you blush in a really, really good way.
He never shuts up.
You should never say these things about me.
Thank you.
Are we getting you out of the doghouse with that? Can we help you?
I don't know. She hadn't texted back yet. She says I don't need a reason for me being in the doghouse. So,
yeah, I don't want to be the reason for you to have the relationship end. I just want to be the reason to just slightly embarrass you every once in a while on this program, because I'll do the same for myself and the same for Maddie T. We all get equally embarrassed by us. So,
and that's why,
you just wait until I find my next significant other. Then you can swordfish for your heart's desire. Hey, don't forget about the Hit That Line Podcast Network. It's now sponsored by Breeden RV Center, family owned and operated, no pressure, laid back atmosphere, always home of free maintenance for life. And you can download every Hit That Line podcast right there on hitthatline.com.
Let's start with our halftime pod.
Ruskin and Zach, Morning Rush, the Hog Talk. I mean, we got more podcasts than you've got fingers. And we've got a second hour of halftime coming up next. Stay with us.
Are you concerned about possible COVID exposure for you or your employees? Fort Smith has a new option for PCR COVID testing that is fast and accurate. Natural State Laboratories out of Little Rock has opened a PCR COVID drive-thru location in Fort Smith at Community Bible Church. PCR testing is the most sensitive, accurate test available, and results are available the next day. No appointment is necessary. Convenient COVID PCR drive-thru testing in Fort Smith is open 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday through Friday at Community Bible Church, located at 9201 Dallas Street.
For a dependable, fuel-efficient tractor from a company committed to the future, make sure you choose a Branson tractor. Each of our tractors is backed by a 6-year limited warranty with models available ranging in horsepower from 22 to 58. That means you're sure to find the tractor that is right for you. Make sure you call or stop in today at Bush Tractor. They're located at 7301 South 0 Street in Fort Smith, or you can check them out online at bushtractor.com.
Introducing Budweiser Zero. 0% alcohol, 0 grams of sugar, full Budweiser flavor. For all the moments you want a beer and need to stay on your game. Budweiser Zero. 0 alcohol, 0 compromise.
Start your Saturday mornings with a sipping Saturday brunch menu at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Every Saturday from 10 till 2. Joe's Grill and Cantina is serving a brunch menu with breakfast burritos, breakfast frittatas, and many of your brunch favorites. Get your Saturday morning pick-me-up with mimosas, screwdrivers, and other cocktail favorites. It's the Saturday morning sipping brunch menu at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Every Saturday morning from 10 till 2 at Joe's Grill and Cantina. 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
Metal Mart offers high-quality prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shop, carports, and more. They strive to be a company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials needed to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. Stop by 7320 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith or call 648-3342. You can also catch them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
The roads are expected to remain slippery as we have a chance of some light freezing rain and a little sleet to start the day. Our temperatures this afternoon will be in the low 30s north, upper 30s south. Cloudy skies, overnight lows mid-teens north, low 20s south. And Friday, partly sunny, highs in the 30s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Hey, this is Ty Richardson. Make sure to listen to The Morning Rush every weekday morning from 6 to 9 on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
It's fast. It's exciting.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is halftime, coming at you from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3. Live from the Busch Light Studios.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Because this is a proud damn state.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
You can actually feel Razorback Stadium shaking underneath our feet right now.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Smackdown Jenkins.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Stick this one in the electrical socket, folks. The Razorbacks have shocked the world. Arkansas defeats UConn.
I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
Halftime today is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings in Fort Smith, Conway, Little Rock, Sherwood, and Jonesboro.
Buffalo Wild Wings, roar!
Hey, hold on, it's almost halftime.
Second hour halftime. No guests, just you and us. Phil Elson, Matty T, the Smackdown, 877-377-6963. I got a friend in Pittsburgh who grew up in Boston. His name's David, and he is a huge Red Sox fan, and he is pissed today. He is not happy today with Andrew Benintendi being dealt under what really looked like a team-friendly contract. I mean, he's 2 years away from free agency. His salary is only $6 million. Sox are even paying like $2.8 million of his salary for the upcoming year. So it's not a salary dump, really. It's more that, I mean, the Red Sox are just totally remaking the franchise from the top down. And a new team president, new general manager, and new manager and everything, man. I mean, it is a totally different thing. And you just look at who is their outfield from the 2018 World Championship. Jackie Bradley, Andrew Benintendi, Mookie Betts. And we know Mookie, of course, with the Dodgers, defending world champion, was the biggest reason the Dodgers won that World Series. And Jackie Bradley is a free agent. So Sox still could bring him back, but I've read the New York Mets are pretty interested in getting him. And I would imagine if the Sox wanted to re-sign Bradley by now, they would have. And then Benny now is dealt in a 3-team trade to the city that is closest to Baum Walker Stadium than any other major league city. And it feels nice, doesn't it, to have Benny 3.5 hours away at Kauffman Stadium. Well, we'll have a chance to, it's ridiculous to think about this as like he needs to resurrect his career. Resurrect your career at the age of 26 when you've won a World Series, finished second in the Rookie of the Year balloting your first season, and really all you had was a bad season and a half. I think that's what it's been for Benny, more or less about a bad season and a half. And I would say, look, you want to take how many grains of salt you're going to take what happened to Benny last year when, I mean, I'm looking at the numbers now. He was 4 for 39 for the entire season. He batted 103. But he had the rib cage injury, and 14 games is way too small of a sample to say, well, this is what he's going to be. He wasn't as good the year before in 2019, struck out a lot more, expanded his zone more, swung at the first pitch a lot more, didn't work the count the way that I think we're used to seeing him work the count. So it feels like a surprise for him to get traded. But then again, Boston's tearing the team down, and they're getting a couple of players to be named later, a youngster from KC, a youngster from the Mets. So they're just doing the rebuilding thing, it seems, in Boston this year. And the Royals, they're going to get a guy who I think is going to he's going to give you a fairly solid season. Like, this would be the sort of year where, I mean, Benny should be hitting. He should be a 280 guy with an on-base in the 360s, 350s, OPS in the low to mid-800s, a very productive major leaguer. And I think the Red Sox gave up on him too early. I think it's a really nice get for the Royals. And overall, like, you know, the way Bob Holt puts it, SmackDown, Boston's a really tough place to play. That is not a franchise or an organization or fans, more the fans than anything, that are going to accept the word rebuild. Not in Boston, not when it feels like they print more money than the U.S. Mint. But right now, Boston would be solidly behind the Yankees, the Blue Jays, and Tampa in the American League East. I think the Royals are still solidly behind the Twins and the Indians. Well, I don't want to call them the Indians, Cleveland, whatever they're going to be, and the White Sox. But I think the Royals, they're building a little something there, and Benny will be a cornerstone for it. We've got a really interesting outfield now of Jorge Soler, who hit like 40-some home runs a couple of years ago, opted out last year. Benintendi, and either Whit Merrifield or Michael Taylor. I like the trade for the Royals. I like the trade for Benny, and for Razorback fans too, because hopefully they'll allow fans at Kauffman Stadium and call the Hogs on him as often as you want, and I'm sure he'd appreciate that.
I'm anxious to see how this move turns out for him because, like you said, he played really well during his rookie year with the 28 when they made the run, but these last 2 years. And is it as simple as a change of scenery for him? Is that what the problem is, or do you think it might have had something to do with the pandemic year and just a little bit everything? Or?
Erase the pandemic year. Don't look at anything that happened in the baseball season last year as indicative for anything else. It was a one-time deal. 60 games doesn't tell you anything. He only played 14. So it was a complete anomaly. Wash it away. 2 years ago, he still wasn't as good as he had been the first 3 years. And look, there's the thing that I remember noticing about Benintendi just when he was with Arkansas as a sophomore is great plate discipline and good plate coverage too. Like, this was a guy who, we remember him hitting 20 home runs. He's not a major league home run hitter. I mean, he might get into 20 every once in a while. I see him more as like a 16 to 22 home run guy with 40 doubles. Like, he had 41 doubles 2 years ago. That's his strength. Gap to gap, line to line, a guy that can take a pitch on the outside corner, go the other way with it. I have a feeling that he just got out of him. He got out of himself a little bit. Like, I don't think his plate discipline was as disciplined as it had been before. And swinging at the first pitch, while sometimes that's a good thing. Like, you might get a really good first pitch fastball. His first pitch swinging rate went up dramatically 2 years ago. And he is a batter that fights off two-strike pitches. He's a really good hitter with two strikes. And I just think he got away from himself a little bit. A new start without feeling the pressure of, like, being the guy left over from that World Championship team. There had to have been pressure that he would have felt after Mookie Betts is traded, and he's the guy left. There has to be that sort of pressure. You don't feel like there never is that kind of pressure in Kansas City, especially after the last few years in KC. Like, the pressure's off of him. Totally off of him, and I think he can get back to being the player that he was, and that I think he is. At 26 years old, he's too athletic to be washed up. I don't think that there's any chance he is.
Is it also, could you throw in just maybe the name across the chest? That there's a difference between, like, having, which obviously he played for one of the most, if not the most historic franchise in Major League Baseball for whatever it's worth. But is there a difference for now when he looks down, he's like, oh, okay, and I'm not degrading Kansas City at all. I mean, they've won a World Series, but is there a difference between having rolls across your chest and Red Sox with just the pressure of playing for that type of a franchise?
Yes, there is. And it's not to say
my
that,
point, though.
Absolutely. Well, it's not to say that Kansas City fans, don't expect wins. But, that's a mid-market team, a small market team. And they're coming off of, 3 really bad seasons, weren't good last year, lost 100 games the 2 years each before that. It's been 5 years since that World Series championship, and I think the pressure is off of him for now, but after a couple of years, they're going to expect some return upon that. And if he isn't the same player that he looked like 3 years ago, then the pressure's back on him. And then you wouldn't be surprised if KC tries to move him again. But, after 2 years, if he's not playing well, he's a free agent. It's pretty important for Benny to get back to where he had been, maximize that earning potential. You know what I mean? You only get a certain amount of time to really earn your most as a major league player, and these next 2 years for Benny are huge.
And that's fair. And that's completely fair because if he played for a team like the Yankees, the Giants, I'm trying to think of like the major market teams, the Mets. Do you throw the Cardinals in there? But like those franchises, when you think Major League Baseball, Cardinals, Yankees, Red Sox, Giants, the Braves, maybe. Like,
Royals are not. No, they're not on that. They're not on that level.
And when you get to a team,
they used to be in the 70s and 80s, they sort of were on that level.
Right, and when you get to a team like that, you're expected to perform right away. And at least here, I mean, yes, he's going to be expected to do good things because he's that type of a player. He was in the Rookie of the Year conversation. He's got that in him, but at least he'll have a little bit of cushion time.
I just don't think there's any way that Benintendi, whose wrists are so quick and seemed to be such a smart hitter 3 years ago, just, forgot how to hit, forgot how to be patient. It's a matter of sometimes the pressure you put on yourself to do things that you might have done at some point that might be a little bit outside of your normal capabilities, like a 20 home run season for Benny. That, to me, seems more like something a little out of the ordinary for him. 40 doubles is not. He needs to get back to being the 40 doubles, Benny. 877-377-6963 to be with us on halftime. Right back after the break. Let you know where the other Pro Hogs are hopefully settling in for the Major League season.
The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Kraft.
One of the things you liked about Sam Pittman and the initial hires he made is the SEC experience that they had. Now you're switching it up, lack of Power 5 and SEC experience. You get a lot of younger guys. Every single one of these assistants are younger than their predecessor. That's something I think you need to at least raise your eyebrows on.
Weekdays from 6 till 9, only on ESPN 95.3.
You're locally owned?
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
This is Pastor Heath from Woodland. I know some of these ads make you glad, but most probably make you mad. The reason is people believe the lie that heals is better than the truth that hurts. Our purpose at Woodland is to risk the hurt by exposing the lies so you can be wise unto salvation. If you'd like to know more, check out our website, woodlandpeople.church. There you can download our app and listen to our podcast. That's woodlandpeople.church.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
The contest runs through March the 6th, so make sure every time you get on your bike, check in at Wheeler Power Sports. For more on the Frozen Knuckles Challenge, go to WheelerPowersports.com. Wheeler Power Sports is located at 901 North 11th Street near downtown Fort Smith. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling.
Man, I just want to ride, man. I just want to ride.
Tommy Kraft here for The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building your next fence. The Fence Man recently built new gates for my existing fence. The whole process was easy, quick, and most importantly, affordable. Plus, 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available with The Fence Man. If you need a new fence, gate, or anything that involves a fence, call The Fence Man, 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is Mike Ashley with Ashley Air. Did you know we've been serving customers like you since 1958? For our 63rd birthday, Carrier gave us a free furnace. We decided to pay it forward by giving the furnace away along with a brand new high-efficiency air conditioner. For your chance to win, go to AshleyAir.com. One lucky homeowner will win a high-efficiency system valued at nearly $9,000, and there's no cost to you. Don't wait to enter. The drawing will be held on February the 25th.
AshleyAir.com.
In the mood for a top shelf night, 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge has your number. Sit back, relax, and enjoy select wines, top shelf spirits, and handcrafted cocktails in a rich, comfortable, sanitized setting with state-of-the-art air filtration. Indulge in one of their delicious appetizers, sandwiches, salads, or specialty items for carry-out or dine-in. Open Tuesday through Saturday. Stop by 906 Garrison Avenue in Fort Smith. 906 Garrison in Fort Smith. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge, defining nightlife in downtown Fort Smith.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hogs in transition. Nice no-look pass. Sills with a layup. Great feed that time by J.D. Note. And the Razorbacks are back up by 18.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Smackdown Jenkins.
Every SEC team to a current country music artist. Why is Arkansas Blake Shelton?
Who knows breakups like Blake Shelton at Arkansas?
Oh, wow. Whoa. Have a smart speaker? Just say play ESPN Arkansas to listen to Halftime anywhere you go.
ESPN Arkansas from TuneIn.
I'm just going to put a little thing in early here, although teams haven't reported to spring training. I think the Royals are going to finish with more wins than the Red Sox this year.
Easy.
I do. I think it's a good trade for Benny. And who knows if he's going to stick with the Royals for very long. I mean, once you start bouncing around, you kind of start bouncing around. Will he be there for 2 years with the Royals? I think so. That's how long he's got left on the contract. And if he plays as well as we know he can, he'll make more money and move on. But I think the Royals, look, they're not world champions this year, but they're building a little something. I like what they've got. They've signed Carlos Santana, a guy who's almost automatic for 34 home runs during the offseason. Got Salvador Perez as your catcher. It's got an interesting pitching staff. I think Brady Singer could end up being a real star. And the Red Sox, this is sort of like a little bit of like a start over year for them. They need Sale to be healthy. Eduardo Rodriguez couldn't pitch last year because he had myocarditis. After contracting COVID, he'll need to come back healthy. And the biggest offseason signing for Boston was Garrett Richards, my former boy from the Travelers, who has been too injured really to be consistent, but he can be great if he's on. So
is there a team like post? And I know a lot can change within the 2 years, but post 2 years, is it Kansas City that you think he's the best fit for? Or do you think there's another team out there that?
I don't know. We'll see what it's like in 2 years. You can't
look ahead in time?
No, you can't really figure it out by that. But I mean, hey, you always want to look like, where's the guy from? He's from outside. He's from Cincinnati. Does he want to sign with the Reds? Like, you really don't see a lot of teams. You really don't see a lot of top-level free agents end up signing with the Reds. But maybe that's where he ends up. I don't know. Kansas City this year is going to be fine. Other Razorbacks that might not be in big league ball, but still have a shot. Logan Forsythe remains a free agent. He had a bad little stint with the Marlins last year. He hit under 100. Matt Reynolds did get signed by the White Sox as a free agent in December. Blake Parker still looking for a job after being outrighted by Philadelphia in October. And the other Razorbacks that have big league experience all have contracts. Remember, Drew Smiley was the first free agent that signed in the offseason. He's now with the Braves. It's going to be the Braves, I think, will be a dangerous-looking team, especially getting Smiley on the mound there. Jalen Beek still with the Rays. He was missed the last set of playoffs and the series with an elbow strain. Keuchel's with the White Sox. James McCann signed with the Mets. Ryan Stanek's with Houston. And Brian Anderson back with the Marlins. So, of course, we'll be keeping track on all of them as the Major League season continues.
And we haven't heard a lot yet as far as with like Heston Kjerstad, Casey Martin, or any of those guys that got picked up in the draft. I mean, could you see any of those guys this coming season?
Well, I was searching around to see if either of them were invited to Major League spring training. I'd be surprised if Heston isn't, as the second overall pick last year. Casey Martin maybe gets invited to Major League spring training. I'd be surprised if either of them gets up to the big leagues this season. Baltimore's not going to contend, and I don't think they'll want to start the clock on free agency for Kjerstad early. So I'll be interested to see how they do in the minors. But hopefully they all get baseball cards this year. So I watched a little bit of the on Major League Baseball Network a couple of days ago, there was a 3-hour-long show that had to have been completely sponsored by the Topps Baseball Card Company because they revealed the 2021 set of baseball cards. And the way they did it was by inviting Hall of Famers and former ball players and managers and all of those guys in media personalities to do, they called it a rip party, where you rip open sets of, packs of baseball cards and read them and try to remember things about those players. And they were doing old packets, like stuff from the 70s and the 80s. And I don't know. I mean, obviously Harold Reynolds does not listen to halftime, or wasn't listening to halftime in May when Maddie dared me during a live show at the hair salon
at Knockouts,
to eat old gum. Now, this wasn't from baseball cards.
That was from a pack of Gremlins movie cards from, I believe, was it 1982?
Original. No, that movie's from '84. So
84,
I think that set of baseball cards, Gremlins cards, came out in '85. So I ate 35-year-old gum and almost puked on the air. That was disgusting. That was like the worst thing I've ever ingested in my life. Harold Reynolds is opening baseball cards from 1989. He thought it would be a cute thing to eat it. He barely made it through the segment.
I think you opened up the
89s.
89s, okay.
Yeah, and I still got gum. Oh, man. I have a lot of gum.
You're very bold.
That's
40-year-old gum, dude.
No, that stuff is good.
This is the 83s.
I don't know about the gum.
Super cool. Was it 83?
I'm getting
83.
sick. That gum messed me up.
Can't believe you put that in your mouth.
Oh, gosh.
Good stuff. Enjoy the rest of the rip party.
Man,
I'm keeping these.
I'm going to keep these, too. I want that Jim Cotton. I'll trade you a Jeffrey letter. Look at Hack looking hard, man. Looking hard. See if you guys come up with any good ones,
I'm
too.
not trading this one.
Don't try the gum, though. That was a bad mistake. My stomach is killing me.
SmackDown edited out all of his reactions to the gum over about a minute and a half long.
Yeah, it was about 2.5 minutes, and you can find it on YouTube if you want to go search it up and find it. But
yeah, watch the entire 3-hour thing. But it was hilarious because he goes from, man, this stuff is good, to 2.5 minutes later, ready to just heave and puke all over the place. You could see the look on his face too, like he's trying to play it off, like you know that look. You know that look where you're chewing something that you're trying to make it seem like you can handle it, but you know you really can't handle it.
You know, the way those cards are packaged, too, it's not like they're, sealed from the environment. It's like any kind of whatever was in the air over all of those decades is trapped in that gum, It makes its way in.
Weren't we and you going to do it? Like you had another pack of, it wasn't the Gremlin cards or baseball cards, but you had more of that gum, and I thought that,
I have packs of Batman cards from the 1989 movie that have the gum in it. I just didn't want to open them.
That's fair. Yeah. I feel like me and you need to like reprieve him for. How long did you last when you did it? Did you last 2.5 minutes?
I mean, I don't remember, to be honest. It's a part of my life I would rather forget.
You ate it right before a commercial.
Bill chewed it until it lost the flavor.
It was that gross. Like, I don't think I'll ever chew baseball card gum or Gremlin card gum again. Like, weren't the guys on the Morning Rush talking about moments where you got sick from alcohol and can't drink that stuff
anymore? Your best
anymore?
drunk stories, yeah.
Your best drunk stories usually involve something you can't ever drink again. For me, it's Southern Comfort. That'll never happen again. I am never chewing baseball card gum again, no matter if it's fresh right off the factory.
That's true.
It ain't happening.
I mean, I made the mistake, and Ty he didn't put me on the spot, but he was very quick to like, Matt, what's your best drunk story? So, to me, Southern Comfort's probably up there for me. It's not involved in my worst drunk story, which I think I've told you to, and I won't say it again just because make it a Morning Rush exclusive. My drunk story.
One of my favorite drunk stories is not even me being drunk. It was my first roommate in college. SmackDown was your size, Dan Zalowitz, kid from Memphis. Not he was like a kid. He was like a giant. He was huge. I mean, gigantic.
Bigger than me.
Yes, your size at the very least. Your size.
Oh my God.
Gentle giant, though, but I'll tell you what. You try carrying this guy while he can't walk because he's so sloshed. I had to drag him from the elevator all the way to our room, and we were at the end of the hall. Thank goodness I was sober. I don't think I'd have made it.
I had a friend of mine. This would have been probably my senior year in college, his junior year, and that was about the time that he found alcohol. And long story short, he was at his girlfriend's place, and then I had to go pick him up and bring him back and make sure my cousin was good. Like, it was a whole big ordeal. I walked back into the dorm room, and my roommate at the time, I said, "Where's Sam at?" And they were like, "He's in the bathroom," and he had this grin on his face. Almost,
what kind of grin?
I was almost crap eating grin. Sorry about that. Didn't say it though. He fell asleep.
Candy eating grin.
Candy eating grin. He fell asleep in the bathroom floor, butt naked.
And you let him stay there?
I let him stay there, and I opened the door, and I hit the door on his head, and he kind of came to, and he said, "Oh," I said, "You good?" And he said, "Hell no, I'm not good."
No, he's definitely not good.
Those are all pretty mild stories, though. It's not like you're like, "Hey, I got drunk and I tried to take a gun on an airplane."
Do you want me to tell you mine real quick?
That's it?
No, that's all right, because we only have a minute, and we got to get through this ad here. Mike from Fort Smith wants to know if it tasted like mildewed cardboard or SmackDown's shoe insole.
Whoa, hey,
maybe,
easy.
I don't know what SmackDown's shoe
Whoa.
insole tastes like. It would have been more like a slight sugary mildewed cardboard.
My shoes smell fantastic, Mike. You can get off my lawn.
That's history.
I'm sure they do. Don't forget about Wheels RV. They have RV show pricing right now, so you can skip all the lines and crowds this year and shop the industry's best brands at Northwest Arkansas's premier RV dealer. Lifetime warranty, RV storage, mobile service shuttle. Wheels RV makes owning a new RV never easier than right now. RV show pricing has begun at Wheels 5 miles west off exit 72, right underneath the Tawnytown Water Tower. Seek, explore, discover wheelsrv.net. Right back after this.
The number one question on every guy's mind this Valentine's Day is, what's the gift that's going to wow? So 1-800-Flowers is here with a helpful hint. Go with roses. Right now, 1-800-Flowers is offering the 18-stem Enchanted Rose Medley for just $39.99. Or double it to 36 roses for $20 more. To order, go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, and enter code KJZ. Again, go to 1-800-Flowers.com and enter code KJZ. That's 1-800-Flowers.com, code KJZ.
Here's the good news. Even with high unemployment, there's still a need for hundreds of thousands of cybersecurity professionals in the U.S. right now. And My Computer Career is training people to help meet the demand. No IT experience? No problem. Take the free career evaluation today at mycomputercareer.edu. Start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. Grants covering up to 53% of the cost are available to those who qualify. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
The best TV experience in the nation is available locally with personal service from WOW World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional dish authorized retailer. Dish has the Hopper 3, the most advanced DVR, and delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recordings anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now, WOW World of Wireless, at 479-478-6616. That's 479-478-6616 for more details. Or stop by our location at 601 Church Street in Barling, next to Frank Rowe Furniture. Or visit us online at www.shopwownow.com. That's shopwownow.com.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SE programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
Hey, grounds guys.
Hey, what?
Can you clean up my yard?
You betcha. That's what the grounds guys are here for. Grounds guys will clean up any of that lingering winter debris like leaves and branches, prep your lawn for spring, and give your flower beds a fresh new look. The grounds guys is your one-stop shop for all your lawn care needs in Northwest Arkansas and the Fort Smith area. Call 479-303-GUYS. That's 303-GUYS. Or visit groundsguys.com. The Grounds Guys. Leave the yard work to us.
Standard Materials Group has immediate openings for ready-mix drivers in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you have a CDL license without an automatic restriction and want to be home every night, want to work with a company that offers great pay, benefits, and a great team environment with growth opportunities, apply today at jobs.crh.com. Again, that's jobs.crh.com. Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources, and I want to help you get a great deal on a great car. So I'm making it easy with prices up to $3,113 below retail on the best selection of Rath road-ready vehicles we've had in months. These are late-model, low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs that have been hand-picked and inspected in our Meineke Car Care Center. You just can't buy a better pre-owned vehicle. And right now, you can save with prices up to $3,113 below retail. If you're waiting on your tax refund, my TaxMax program can help with that by getting you access to your money now. now. Worried about your credit? Don't be. My For the People credit approval process can get you approved and driving your nicer, newer car today. If you're not in the market right now, let us take care of the car you have in our Meineke Car Care Center, the home of half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. Don't wait. Get the nicer, newer car you want today and save up to $3,113 at Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online at rathauto.com.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking. Are we gonna do what they say can't do?
Smith with a second free throw off the backside. Davis comes in for the rebound. She sees an opening, driving down the floor. Look at that speed and the athleticism and the finish by Marquisha Davis.
Yeah, Marquisha's not going to waste time trying to find an outlet. She'll take it herself and go coast to coast just like she did there.
The Morning Rush, Halftime, Ruskin and Zach, the Hog Talk Podcast. Trusting the process, primetime preps, all available on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Built by Breeden RV Center. Family owned and operated, a no-pressure, laid-back atmosphere, and always home of the free maintenance for life. Just type Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts.
All right, you guys, podcast time.
Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and SmackDown.
All right, we got 30 minutes left here on halftime. We do get word that Texas A&M Florida for Saturday postponed due to COVID within the Aggies program. That is 4 games in a row that Texas A&M has had postponed, and also the 3rd straight Florida game that is postponed. So, boy, the Aggies are going to have to make a ton of games up, and I just don't know if you make up 4 games. They're going to have to make up 4 games. You have 3 weeks. There's going to be a week between the end of the regular season and the start of whatever the SEC tournament's going to look like. Is there any way that they can actually get these 4 games in? Really shocking. You know, and the team that Arkansas women's basketball plays tonight, Mississippi State, they've got to make up one with Tennessee. You know, boy, it's one aspect that I know Mike Neighbors has to be pretty happy about. You haven't had any postponements. Every single game you've been scheduled for outside of Vanderbilt has been played, and you switched Vandy for UConn and got a win that none of us will ever forget. All right, 8 o'clock tip-off tonight, SmackDown, so I'm going to need a cup of coffee at about 5:30. I think you might go to Joe's Grill and Cantina to watch the game on the SEC Network telecast.
That's the best place to go watch it, Joe's Grill and Cantina. It's All-American Thursday, so you can head over there, get your barbecue pork sandwich, and a side for $7, get you a cold draft beer. Mate, you can have a great time tonight at Joe's Grill and Cantina watching the game over there. You can get you some brisket nachos for an appetizer for you and the family. Lots of great options for you guys at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Burgers tonight. All domestic long necks are $2.50 today for All-American Thursday. That is Joe's Grill and Cantina. They're at 3400 South 74th Street in Fort Smith, across from Harps. You can give them a call and place your order to go online, or by giving them a call at 479-478-9600. That is Joe's Grill and Cantina.
All right, a couple things I wanted to touch on. These are also anniversaries. I think this is the biggest upset in my life that I ever watched on television or would have seen in person. I can't imagine anything being more of an upset than Buster Douglas defeating Mike Tyson on a knockout when he wasn't even supposed to fight him until I think a month before. 31st anniversary, SmackDown, of Buster Douglas's knockout of Mike Tyson.
What do y'all remember about that?
Took place at the Tokyo Dome. I remember just being completely shocked. And that the thing about this was that Tyson knocked Douglas down. What was that? The third round, something like that. And he barely made it up, but he did get up and then totally dominated Tyson for the rest of the fight. And the thing that Tyson couldn't stop was Douglas's overhand right. And he caught him with it over and over and over again. He was a 42-1 underdog, SmackDown. I mean, 42-1. Until then, Tyson was the baddest man on the planet. That was one of his many nicknames. He was undefeated, the undisputed heavyweight champion, and he lost to a nobody in Buster Douglas, who I don't know if Douglas did he ever defend his world championship with a win? I don't think he did. That's the biggest upset that I can remember. Did you ever have a chance to watch any of the replays of it or highlights of it? Because I watched it as it happened with my dad, and I was 13 years old. Tyson was like the scariest thing I'd ever seen. I was a big boxing fan back then, and I'll never forget, watching him get dominated after knocking Douglas down.
I think I've seen clips of it, or just of the knockout itself. I need to go back and rewatch because correct me if I'm wrong, he knocked him out and then Tyson was trying to get back into the fight or something. Wasn't there a controversy he should have kept going or something? Or am I thinking of a different?
There was nothing he could have done.
That may be thinking of something different.
No, I don't think he could have. He wouldn't have been able to come back. Douglas was the number 7 ranked heavyweight by Ring Magazine, and he didn't defend his undisputed world championship. Up till then, usually it would be Mike Tyson destroying whoever he fought in the first round. I remember watching him eat up Marvis Frazier in 36 seconds. He beat Jerry Cooney in a minute and a half. He beat Michael Spinks. Leon Spinks' brother. Leon just died last week. He was the light heavyweight champion, the Olympic gold, 1976. Beat Muhammad Ali. His brother, Michael Spinks, who had defeated Larry Holmes for what was also an upset for a heavyweight title, he could barely even stay in the ring with Tyson. As soon as the fight started, Tyson just charged at him like a bull and beat the living snot out of Spinks for one of the 3 belts that he won. That was one of the other things about it, too. What was Douglas even doing standing toe-to-toe with him and lasting long and even getting up from getting knocked down? Nevertheless, seeing Mike Tyson down on the mat, knocked down, that was the most shocking thing. Never mind the idea that he lost. And then to see what he's turned into now, this podcast host who's, I guess, going to fight Evander Holyfield sometime in the summer. It's not the same person. Not the same person at all. Yeah, Brandon says the only bigger upset was Rocky over Drago. You're exactly right. 877-377-6963. Got a caller on hold. It's Jason in Frankfurt. And, Jason, I know you had to enjoy Arkansas winning at Rupp as someone that lives in the Colonel State. What was that like for you?
It was, I got tickets, so I was in upper level, spaced out. It was a good time up until I had to really clinch up after Jalen Tate made that. I had to clinch up, and then Devo stepped in and made that steal, and I could unclinch. Man, it was a good that was a good feeling right there. But everybody was kind. The Kentucky fans, they pretty much ignored me. Allowed me to cheer, do everything that I needed to do, just to get my hog on, so to speak. So yes, earlier you mentioned the Texas A&M schedule and how it's been turned upside down by COVID. Do you see a situation where Musselman says, because they're supposed to play here in about 9 days, where Musselman says, you all can come to us, we'll host you. I know it's scheduled to be down there at A&M. Do you think he says that, or pulls something similar where he just says we're not going to gain anything by playing that game? It's not a high quadrant win. There's nothing that can come from going on the road to A&M. Do you ever see a situation like that?
That's an interesting question, and I doubt it. I doubt it honestly, because I understand there have been situations in football and basketball and college this year where the term COVID has been used for what more than anything else is an opt-out. The TCU bowl game with Arkansas, there might have been some COVID situations, but more than anything that they just really didn't want to play the game. From everything Muss says, he wants to play, man. He wants to get out on the court. He wants this team playing basketball. He's talked about, I want a full SEC tournament, So, and it's not necessarily traveling there that's the problem, because the women's team was just there too. And, they came back and they're fine from it. But I think right now you want as many games as you can play, no matter who it is, because you got to get that win total up. And to get A&M twice, that's good for Arkansas, especially considering that the Aggies are going to have to jam almost a month's worth of games into a 2 or 3 week stretch, which I don't really even know if they can pull that off.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying, is that I don't know that they can pull that off. Why bend over backwards? Why go to them? Make them come to
Well,
Fayetteville?
You're right. The game that is still scheduled is at A&M on February 20th. So that's still on the schedule, and I think that might be, what is that? 9 days away? Who knows what's up with the Aggies program by then? It's been 2 weeks now that they've had COVID issues. But then it's the SEC that's going to reschedule the game that was supposed to be played at Bud Walton Arena, and that'll be after March 2nd. I guess it'll be the following Saturday.
You think they could do a scenario like, I think, was it the Conference USA or one of the Sun Belt or something, where they do like a back-to-back or something? Maybe just leave it at A&M and then do back-to-back games there, or bring it to Fayetteville or something along those lines. Maybe I don't know.
I'd be surprised if they force them to play the same team back-to-back. But then if they want to play every single game possible, they may have to pull that off.
Thanks for the call, Jason.
Really weird. Thanks, Jason. And a pretty interesting situation you bring up too. All right, one more thing left here on halftime, and I want to remind you to go to 906lounge.com. You can find all the great menu options available at 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. And they can stay open a lot later these days with the governor's recent decree. Can stay open until midnight tonight, 1 o'clock Friday and Saturday. You'll find top-shelf spirits, hand-rolled cigars, and a premium small plate menu, delicious food, plus state-of-the-art airflow system where the air is changed out every 4 minutes inside the building. Learn more at 906lounge.com. Open tonight through Saturday, and they're at 906 Garrison Avenue in the Fort. Halftime homework next.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Jelco for hard work and the great outdoors.
With quality and price and comfort you like, and savings that you're looking for.
We've got the shoes and boots, steel toes too, outerwear and a whole lot more.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Jelco
for hard work and the great outdoors.
Do you need help with your next project? Metters Lumber True Value is here to help. A family-owned business since 1936, the staff has more than 90 years of experience in construction and the hardware business. If they don't have what you need, they know how to get it, and they are more than happy to accommodate your special order. So whether it's building a new deck, a paint project around the house, or needing a new set of tools, Metters Lumber True Value has everything you need. With locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville, and you can shop online at metterslumber.com. Metters Lumber True Value.
Do you have sleep apnea? Are you tired of dealing with a CPAP every night? The noise, the constant cleaning, your wife telling you she can't take the noise anymore. Dr. Bo Sparkman at Family Dental Care of Fort Smith can help you with sleep apnea with a custom dental appliance that allows you to get rid of that annoying CPAP. Dr. Sparkman has years of experience and has treated hundreds of patients just like you. Call for your appointment today, 785-1419. That's 785-1419. Get rid of your CPAP with Family Dental Care of Fort Smith.
A chicken wing is just a flavor missile covered in awesomeness. And at Buffalo Wild Wings, we're locked and loaded with 26 sauces and seasonings aimed right at your face. So whether you're gearing up for the sweet tang of honey barbecue, Magma Hot Blazing Carolina Reaper, or new zesty lemon pepper sauce, get ready, because your mouth's in the blast zone. 26 sauces and seasonings at Buffalo Wild Wings.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
Here's Gunner and Jeb.
Hello? Hey, it's Jeb. I did like you suggested and bought Mildred a hot and spicy present for Valentine's Day.
Good boy. What'd you get her?
I got her that habanero hot sauce she's so crazy about.
God save the queen. Well, I got a Valentine's present for you.
Really? What?
A trip to Dr. Phil.
Nick and Ellie Glidewell would like to wish everyone a hot and spicy Valentine's Day. Equal housing opportunity. Sagely and Edwards Realtors.
I'm Matt Brown, PGA professional at the Ben Guerin Golf Course and director of the Ben Guerin Youth Golf Academy. We offer affordable weekly junior golf classes throughout the year to kids ages 3 through 16, including an LPGA, USGA, girls-only golf class. If you're looking for a fun and safe environment for your child to learn the game of golf, then consider the Ben Guerin Youth Golf Academy. Classes will start in March of 2021. For more information, please call 646-2444.
Hertz Car Sales has been serving the River Valley for over 40 years and takes pride in offering exceptional service. Whether you're looking for a car, truck, crossover, or SUV, Hertz offers a big selection of the most popular brands. They're friendly, offer a no-pressure car shopping experience, and their vehicles are high quality and priced competitively. New inventory is arriving daily and trade-ins are always welcome. So make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard, give them a call at 783-1722, or check out their line of quality pre-owned vehicles at buyfromhertz.com.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
3:20 left, third quarter. Barnum gives to Slocum, screens for Destiny, stops left elbow, cut off by a double team. Dungy's there to relieve her. Gets the pass, drives in, there's contact, and a foul and a bucket by Chelsea Dungy.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Smackdown Jenkins. Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Follow the guys on Twitter at Phil Elson PXP, at Matt Travis, and at Matt Jenkins 44.
All right, question Smackdown. I was wondering about this because Arkansas, Mississippi State later on tonight. They do play Louisiana State in a couple of Sundays. And if you ever want to, you can shorten the name of those two states. Like you can't say Arkansas incorrectly unless you're going to do like the whole Arkansas thing and have fun doing that with people around here. But I know a lot of people around this state and a lot of other spots across the country that they don't pronounce every letter in both of those states. So let me ask you this: where Ole Miss and State are located, what state is that, Smackdown?
Mississippi.
Mississippi?
Mississippi.
Mississippi or Mississippi?
Mississippi.
Mississippi. I was wondering because I know it is Mississippi, Mississippi. But for a lot of us, it's really just Mississippi. Now, what about the state to the south of Arkansas, the one that you play for the Golden Boot every year?
Louisiana.
Not Louisiana.
Louisiana.
See, this is where you and I differ so much because you're from Arkansas. I am not.
Louisiana.
So
Louisiana.
What do most Arkansans say? Do you usually leave the I out?
Arkansas.
And is it, no, what do most Arkansans say about Louisiana? Is it Louisiana?
Louisiana. That's what I would say.
Well, I got to go with Louisiana. I
don't know if Louisiana. I'll sometimes Louisiana.
It's funny, like in Pittsburgh, a lot of people will call Pennsylvania. We'll just leave the L out of it. So, I don't know. Maybe it's something about me. I like to say names of states and cities the way that they're supposed to be said.
Yeah. What has Louisiana ever done to earn Rob respect?
That's absolutely correct. You're right. B says that's yips. That's yip. No, yips are this is people, maybe so. Maybe it's more of a mindset than anything. You can't get past it.
I'm trying to count Mississippi, Georgia. Those are the only two states right offhand that I could think of that I would say something.
Tennessee, you can't shorten It's not Tennessee. That doesn't work.
I do like the way
Kentucky.
SmackDown put a little southern twang and he said Louisiana, Georgia.
Yeah. That's a joke.
That's the proper pronunciation.
I like JT. JT says Luzerana.
That's a good one.
There you go.
Robin Waldron says he's okay with it. He just can't stand Wisconsin instead of Wisconsin.
I've always enjoyed how people will put more of an emphasis on the AS for Texas, little Texas instead of Texas.
Texas.
And go with that direction too. Rob says he can't stand Wisconsin instead of Wisconsin.
Right. Luzerana. I like that from JT.
Luzerana is good. I dig that one. All right. We're going to wrap the show up here. And as usual on a Thursday, it is time for halftime homework.
What kind of homework assignment? kind of a tough assignment.
I'm thinking we should talk about the homework assignment.
Dude, did you do all your homework last night?
I'm not doing it. This is hard.
You really did your homework, didn't you?
It's time for halftime homework.
What do you boys have for me today?
Halftime homework is brought to you by our friends at Family Dental Care of Fort Smith, reminding that if you have sleep apnea, I know you're tired of dealing with that CPAP every night. It's loud, you got to clean it all the time, and your wife hates it because she can't sleep from all the noise. So Dr. Bo Sparkman at Family Dental Care of Fort Smith will help you with your sleep apnea and get rid of that CPAP because they've got a custom dental appliance that helps with your sleep apnea. Dr. Sparkman has years of experience. He's treated hundreds of patients just like you. Call 479-785-1419 and get rid of your CPAP with Family Dental Care of Fort Smith. So today is, I mentioned, an anniversary of Buster Douglas beating Mike Tyson. Today is also, for those who can see on our YouTube stream, and SmackDown, you can see it back there too.
Uh-huh.
That stadium just behind me is the stadium of my youth. Three Rivers Stadium right there at the confluence of the Allegheny, the Monongahela, and the Ohio. Was torn down. Well, not torn down. It was imploded 20 years ago today. And I will never forget the sight of one of the single worst stadiums in the entire nation finally going down and giving room for two of the best stadiums in the nation for the sports that they host, PNC Park, Heinz Field. I went to the last Steelers game and the last Pirates game at Three Rivers Stadium. And really, though, SmackDown, it was one of the worst places in the country for sports. Great place for music. Great place for music. Grateful Dead, Pink Floyd, all the great stadium concerts of the 80s. I saw Billy Joel and Elton John there in summer of '94.
Oh,
for Steelers football, it was good. For Pirates baseball, it sucked. It was really an awful baseball park, much the like of all those other cookie-cutter, multi-purpose stadiums, Riverfront in Cincy, Veterans in Philly, Shea in New York, Busch in St. Louis, Candlestick in San Fran, the Kingdome in Seattle, the Astrodome in Houston, Atlanta, Fulton County, Jack Murphy in San Diego, and Oakland Coliseum. Nobody really ever has, fond memories of what those stadiums look like, outside of maybe the Astrodome because it was the first ever dome stadium. But I guess I would say, I wish you were still around Three Rivers, but I'd be lying if I said that. All right, so also last night, and I'm going to assign you guys a movie. I've already told Matty T about this, and I think he's into it. I started thinking about this yesterday when I got really envious of Matty T's birthday cookie cake.
Oh, my God.
That his lovely lady had made for him that had the Back to the Future theme. And, of course, we all remember Michael J. Fox as the star from Back to the Future. And he was I would say he was one of the five biggest actors of the 1980s.
He was already on Family Ties at the same time.
Right. He was already at Teen Wolf, I think, had come out by then. Of course, Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3, Secret of My Success, Casualties of War. I mean, even one of the biggest other movies of the 1980s, Crocodile Dundee, made a joke off of his name. Do you remember how Michael Dundee introduced himself the first time that he ever meets his lovely lady? He calls himself Michael J. Dundee, Michael J. Crocodile Dundee. The Michael J. Fox was as big as it got, and the J was one of the things that always stood out about him. But I grew up watching a movie that was the first movie that Michael Fox ever took part in, so early in his career that the J wasn't even included in the credits. He was just Michael Fox. This is a movie from 1980, and it is called Midnight Madness. It is really a stupid Disney movie, but it's a hell of a lot of fun, and it sounds a little bit like this. Does that sound like 1980 or what?
Absolutely. Complete 1980s.
Absolutely. The tail end of the disco era. So this movie is all about a college-oriented scavenger hunt put together by some weirdo named Leon. And he's got 4 teams, each that wear a different colored shirt. One of the teams are the football player meatheads. One of the other teams is a group of girls that are in a sorority. Another team are the guys that are all geeks. And then there's the team everybody loves, which is the white team. The blue team are the bad guys. The blue team is led by Stephen Furst, You remember Stephen Furst from Animal House? He was Flounder. And a whole bunch of other actors that you've never heard of before. But Michael Fox plays the main character's younger brother. And he's like the kid who annoys him throughout the entire movie. Paul Rubens is in this movie.
Was he dressed up as a cowboy?
He's dressed up as a cowboy in an arcade.
Videos on there. That's right. I did think that was the guy from Animal House.
Yeah, and I watched this movie last night. I bought it on Prime for $14. I guess I have way too much money because that's a waste of money.
You could have rented it for $3.
It's not on Disney Plus. No, I want to buy it because the kids, once they get back from Canada, they're going to be watching.
Well, you got to show them because it's something that meant a lot to you when you were a kid.
Well, they've seen it many times already. Trust me.
So, let me ask: does it have raunchy humor in it, or is it pretty family oriented?
It's mostly family oriented, but it is a Disney movie that has a kiss. And it's got a little bit of off-color humor. Like back then, for a Disney movie to be PG and not G was almost unheard of.
From doing a little research online, apparently Disney never actually put their name on it until like 2004 when it was re-released on video.
Exactly. So,
interesting.
I mean, I made it through the whole movie. It's quick.
It looks like it's right up my alley.
It's about an hour and 25 minutes. It is right up your alley, Maddie, because and I don't mean this in a bad way, it's mindless. It's funny. You'll recognize some of the faces, and it's just sort of an hour and 25 minutes to have a little bit of fun, and I think your lovely lady will enjoy it too. Plus, it's also just really weird to see in the credits Michael Fox without the J.
Interesting.
So that's your halftime homework for today.
I have to give that a watch.
I think you will, because I've assigned it to you, SmackDown, so that means you have to watch it by next Thursday and give me a review.
You don't have to put the bass in your voice.
He had, like, the Coen Brothers collection for, 6 months, and he never watched Fargo.
Like, you can't do what Ty Richardson used to do with me on halftime homework, which I would assign him shows to watch, and he would never watch them. He was, I didn't do my halftime. I would have flunked that kid so many times. Like, he would have had to repeat whatever grade I was teaching. Don't be that kid.
Yes, sir.
You got to do your homework, SmackDown.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Lovely Lady's going to make
Elson.
sure it happens, too, because I think Lady SmackDown would enjoy this movie as well.
And I've done his homework before. I watched that movie with Kelly Preston that you recommended for him. I don't think you ever did.
I don't remember the name of it. I'll be completely honest with you.
Do your homework, my man. Gosh. I'm doing my homework. I got a game to do later on tonight. I got to get ready for it.
Funny thing is, you get paid to do your homework, though.
Maybe you can take a nap first, too.
True.
I might have slept through the last hour of this show. Who knows? All right, lots of fun. Tomorrow,
the ghost of Phil Elson.
We do a preview of Arkansas versus Mizzou, recap tonight's game. We got a Duma of the week as well for tomorrow. That should be fun. And all of you with us. Plus, we'll continue to swordfish SmackDown's relationship. For SmackDown and for Matty T, this is Phil. Get up, get out, and get better.